This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of the PSA Pod. Ryan Greene and Jack Archer here, and we are excited to have a very special guest with us today for a conversation we've been looking forward to, the new president of PSA, Ryan Hoge. Ryan, thanks for taking the time for us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Second time on the pod. First time in my new role.
You're in a very exclusive club of two-time guests.
That's great. Hopefully I'll be back on a bunch more.
I think you will, and this time's out perfect because, as we mentioned, you are the new president of PSA, stepping into that role. A lot of our customers, like you mentioned, you've been on the show before. A lot of our customers, a lot of our audience does know you, but we're really excited to have you back here for an extended conversation to introduce you a little bit further to the people out there.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Ryan, we couldn't be more excited for you to have this role. Presidential credentials is important when you're helming the ship. I know Ryan Greene knows you're a serious collector. You mean business when it comes to collecting, but our listenership may not understand how obsessive you really are when it comes to cards and other collectibles.
Yeah, it's been a thing probably since I was 9 years old. Started collecting as a kid, got back into it like a lot of people when I was an adult in my early 30s. And have been really active as a PSA customer and a hardcore collector, not only of cards, but other memorabilia since 2012. I actually brought some cool things with me today to show off for you guys. So we'll unveil those here in a second. But yeah, no, I love it. I live and breathe collecting. I am a collector. And so really excited to be in this position.
What specifically do you collect? I know you're into like Willie Mays, for example. You're into some modern stuff as well. What exactly are you passionate about?
Yeah, so the easiest way to summarize what I'm passionate about is vintage baseball. I love the history. Mm-hmm. It was stuff that I couldn't afford when I was a kid. I like the stories behind it. And so, yeah, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, those are guys that I collect. I'm working on the basic Topps set registries of both. I'm a little more complete with Willie than I am of Hank Aaron. But I also like modern players. And so I like opening products with my kids and doing a little bit of prospecting. I like collecting Mike Trout stuff and Ohtani. I've got an Adrian Beltre collection because I'm from Texas and that was my daughter's favorite player. So I got a whole bunch of his rookie cards. And I've recently got into collecting Type 1 photos. I discovered those. I think they're really cool display pieces. So I've been acquiring a couple of those for my collection as well.
2 comments. One, completely agree with you. Type 1 photos just look incredible and they're just wildly presentable. And 2, Adrian Beltre, I love it. He's one of the most underrated baseball players of the last couple decades. The man is a star.
Yeah, I agree. When is he Hall of Fame eligible? He retired.
What, 3 more years?
I think it's the same time as Ichiro, so it'd be like a year or 2 from now.
Okay.
He's definitely first ballot.
He's first ballot.
So like here's one that I brought. This is new, and so what I'm showing is a Ken Griffey Jr. Type 1 photo from the Sporting News, and I think it was originally from 1993. But I picked up this and several others from a longtime Griffey collector up in the Seattle area where I live, and then got this authenticated by PSA DNA, and it's encapsulated. And it just displays awesome. I have it on my bookshelf behind me for all the Zoom calls and things.
I'm flabbergasted. That is killer.
In the last 30 years, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Jordan, the 2 most photogenic athletes, right? And that's where the list ends. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. No,
seeing that is just so cool.
Yeah. The flip up glasses, the smile, the eye black, old school Mariners logo. It's awesome.
The flip up glasses. I mean, that's the proper look. There's some great Jeter cards too in the 90s when he's got that look going.
Oh yeah.
Man.
So that's one thing that's fun. New category I've gotten into. Let me see what else I have. I'm digging in my bag. Hold on.
This is something we love here in this office is when people bring stuff in because everyone here appreciates it.
Now, this one's pretty fun. So part of my background, previous to working at Collectors, I was at Microsoft for almost 16 years. So I'm a tech guy and a collector. And I came across this card. It's a 1996 set, and these are like postcard size, but it's a Bill Gates rookie card. And so I've got, I don't know if we've graded any others. It's not the highest grade. It's got a little surface issue. It's a PSA 6, but it's a 1996 Bill Gates Growler's rookie card. So that one's also kind of fun.
That looks amazing in the oversized slab too.
Yeah.
It's a perfect showcase of your career so far.
Yeah,
It is all in one slab.
it's so cool when you have personal connections to collectibles like that.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, you're a tech guy. You've been here at the company since last summer
Yep.
2021. You've been in the role of chief product officer until this point. We've had members of the product team on the show previously talking about a variety of projects that they're working on. So much stuff going on behind the scenes that people just have no visibility of. It's so cool. What projects in that role your team has really dug into in this last year plus have you really felt have been the best accomplishments so far that have really aided the business and aided the customer experience here?
Yeah, no, there's a couple I'll touch on. But yeah, that role was super interesting because there was not much of a tech or product organization at the company when I joined. And so a big part of my job for the last 15 months was building out that organization and bringing in talented people that have built the solutions at scale. So a couple of the things that we worked on and delivered over the last year actually fit into two buckets. We have stuff that's customer facing, so people see it. It's things like the website or our mobile apps. And then it's other things that are maybe behind the scenes because we actually have a lot of software and capabilities that power our grading operations in our new Vault. So Vault's a good example where we basically launched a brand new service. It was a physical building, but you needed all the software and systems to power that, from inventory management to imaging to collection management, pricing tools. All of that was built from the ground up, and we delivered it on a relatively tight timeline. And now the team's continuing to iterate and respond to customer feedback and invest in kind of the next set of features and capabilities there. And then the other thing that I'm super proud of is a lot of the work that we've done to scale up our imaging solutions. PSA started imaging cards, I believe it was about 3 or 4 years ago. And we have a goal in 2022 to be able to image every single card that we grade. And we're getting very, very close to being at that level as we get to the tail end of 2022, going into 23.
We've got lots to look forward to in 2023, some of which we can't exactly talk about right now, but a few we can. So going into next year, what are you most excited about with PSA?
Yeah, a couple of these we've already announced. As you alluded to, Jack, there's some secret stuff that we're still working on that we'll share more details later as we get into 23. One of the things I'm really excited is our international expansion efforts with Japan. We've talked about this. This will be our first grading operation for cards outside of the United States. We opened up grading in New Jersey earlier this year, in addition to our Santa Ana location. So we're gonna have a big push to provide services to the Japanese market. We actually have several members of the new grading team that are going to be based in Tokyo that are in Santa Ana this month and for several months doing training. So I'm super excited to get that operation off the ground and provide new services to the Japanese market. Another thing that I'm personally excited about is getting back on the show and convention circuit.
Yes.
I would always love getting things graded on site at the National. That was always a highlight for me. During the pandemic, we obviously shuttered our presence at shows around the country. We had been doing the National the last couple of years. We're going to amp up our coverage at shows, whether that's doing on-site drop-offs. We're going to look at being able to provide imaging solutions. So if people want to get their cards imaged on site, we could do that. And then we're going to look to do more on-site grading other than just at the National. TBD on exactly how broad we go, at what shows, but I definitely want to grade more on site at these shows than just in Chicago at the National, which of course will be there too with a huge presence.
That's going to be massively popular.
Yep.
Because as you mentioned, things were kind of shuttered in terms of the road show in this hobby for a while. We've still been at the National, but you're seeing things really not only return to normal, but also it's kind of a new normal with how many more shows have really grown in the wake of the hobby explosion these last couple of years.
Yeah, there's a ton. And I love going to these. So I'm personally going to plan to attend a lot more of these shows in the different regions of the country, and including international. I think we're actually looking at several international opportunities as well that we could participate in. And then the last thing I wanted to maybe mention was one of the things we're always focused on is just making it easier for people to get started collecting and grading in particular. And so we're putting particular focus on how we structure our products and our services to make it more approachable and accessible for collectors out there.
That's good for everyone.
Yep.
And a lot of those things have to do with tech. You're still going to be having oversight on what's going on with product and tech in your new role. On the product and tech side, looking into 2023, what are you most excited for that's in production and maybe getting ready to roll out?
Yeah. So just to frame it, I'm not leading the product and tech organization in my new role. We have a VP of product, Eric Horn, who's leading the product side, and Dan Tran leads our engineering team. But I'm going to be continuing to partner very closely with them to make sure that we are building the right solutions that we need for our customers and for the business to operate. A couple of things I'm excited about that I know the team is working hard on. Some of these are actually kind of at the finish line, and they're going to be releasing and being available soon. We built this new automation machine that helps aggregate a few steps in our grading process, more at the tail end, kind of post grading related to sealing and the holders and imaging that we are just putting in production now. It's going to increase our reliability, our accuracy, and allow us to scale. And so that's really one of the first meaningful automation solutions that we've deployed to production. And there's lots of complex software behind the scenes, and then the machine itself is super cool. And so I'm excited to see that actually ramping up, and we're recording this in mid-November. It's actually live this week. So it's really, really neat to be able to walk around the production floor and see that working. Another thing that I've gotten a sneak peek of that should be releasing imminently, hopefully by the end of the year, is an updated PSA mobile app that has new capabilities. This will be the PSA cert verification app. We're going to add some new features so that you can actually track your order status and get notifications when your orders are progressing through the grading process. And the team is going to almost re-architect that entire app so they have a cleaner foundation to build new features going forward. And then one more thing that we did recently was we actually hosted and wrapped up our first ever Collectors Hackathon for the product and tech organizations. So for folks that aren't familiar, in tech companies, this is a really common thing where you'll take, whether it's a week or a day or a few days off to away from your day job to focus on just interesting, fun projects. And you almost have to self-organize around these initiatives. And so I believe we had close to 45 different teams around different projects. They just went at it for 3 days, got creative. There were some amazing things that came out from this, and the energy levels were super high. People felt engaged. They were able to flex some creative muscles. And what I'm hoping is actually this speeds up our ability to get these things to customers versus where they might have gotten, put in a queue behind the normal timeline for other projects that are higher priority, where we could fast track some of these because they made a ton of progress during that hackathon. But it was super cool to see, and I'm excited to see the team do more of those next year.
The results from that were truly incredible. Like watching the presentation, seeing some of the stuff that was built in such a short time frame. It's really exciting to be here at this point because we have the new app launching. We have so much tech infusing into our business, and the ceiling is just incredibly high from where we go from here. All right, Ryan, you're up in Seattle for the last year plus at our Seattle office. You're moving down to beautiful, sunny Orange County. What are you excited about personally? And then what are you excited about being here full time from here forward?
Yeah. So you said a year plus I've been there. No.
With the
company a year plus. I've actually been in sunny Seattle for 17 years almost, having grown up in Texas. So I'm actually really used to the sun, miss the sun. So that is what I'm most excited to get back to is like, okay, moving to Orange County. We're planning to move next summer once my kids are wrapping up school in June. But getting back to the sunny weather, it's going to be amazing. Being 20 minutes from the beach, that'll be great. Professionally, though, I think to just be successful in this role, it requires being on site. It requires being in the grading room every single day. We have over 1,000 people that work here every single day across all the different functions. And I'm just looking forward to learn from the team, helping the team grow, scale, achieve new things. We had announced we're actually going to be expanding our offices to take over more space in a new building. And so I actually got a tour of that today. I got to see kind of the new floor plans and the layouts and the efficiency gains that we'll get for the grading team and the operations team. So that was really fun to see. So just being a part of us kind of taking Collectors and PSA to the next level.
Well, you've already been immersing yourself in the business at large, in this role. I assume learning a lot about just kind of what happens in different areas of the business and the organization. What's really something that maybe you hadn't had visibility on before that really caught your attention? That's going to be something in your new role that you're really looking to improve on, maybe in terms of processes, anything like that?
Yeah. So this is week 2 of being in the job. And so I'm having lots of conversations with people trying to learn as much as I can about the things that I just haven't had exposure to. One of the things, though, that was on my list that I really wanted to start digging into was why dual service orders, that's where the card and the autograph are getting graded, tend to run longer, take longer than just card grading. And I wanted to understand the process. So I've been doing a deep dive with the operations and the authentication team there and looking at every step in the process, looking at the systems that we have in place that they're using to do their job. And that's an area in particular that I think we have lots of room that we can improve and have different optimizations to increase turnaround time for our customers and get their product back to them faster. So that's one that I'm digging into, and I'm sure there's going to be others, but hey, it's week 2.
The autograph authentication team is so crazy talented.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could do you could just show them any autograph of like the most random person possible, and they immediately know who it is. I'm always in awe when I go up there and hang out with those guys.
Best in the business.
And it's also incredible how, on especially some more notable signatures, how easily they can spot authentic or not.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's impressive.
It's a great group. I've gotten to know the team. Kevin Keating is our lead authenticator over there, and he's as good as it gets when it comes to autograph authentication.
Well, we're going to bookend it. We started this conversation talking about you as a collector. We're going to close it there. We've talked about your professional goals in 2023. We got to know the personal ones on the collecting side.
Oh, man. So there's a couple things that I'm working on that I want to be able to dedicate more time and money to. One I mentioned earlier was what my Willie Mays and my Hank Aaron Basic Tops runs. I would like to get the Hank Aaron one at least caught up to Willie. I mean, Willie is pacing way ahead right now. So that's one. And then I also started on a 1985 Garbage Pail Kids first edition graded set that I'm trying to just do the whole set in like PSA 7 or 8. And I'd like to be able to get a little further along there. I think I'm like 25-30% complete right now. Would like to get that above 50% by the end of the year if possible.
What about some type 1s you got your eyes on?
Oh boy. I don't want to reveal my secrets there. Keep those to myself.
Are you interested in trading that Griffey type 1 to me? I kid you not, I have a PSA 5 Franz Wagner optic base coming back to me if you're interested. Misjudged that one. I'm normally pretty good. But misjudged that one.
Jack, I'm going to hard pass on that offer.
Okay. All right, man. You're lost.
Ryan, as you mentioned, you're going to be on the show a bunch more, and we look forward to having you. And we thank you for taking the time with us here. Welcome into the new role. And we're really excited for everything as a company moving forward into 2023.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. And thanks to all of our customers and collectors out there listening.
Only good things ahead. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to another week of the PSA Pod. We'll talk to you again next week.